Okay, I don't really have a particular way of how I'm doing it this time. Normally I would bunch the comments together if they were in a group or something, but they're just scattered all over the place and there's a lot to look through, so I'm just scrolling right up to see how this goes. Oh, and I'll be changing some of these comments so they seem more family friendly. The first one comes from NewZen41. The rage over Nintendo fanboys, and I just mean the fanboys, crying about it being a sheer rip-off of Smash is laughable, as Smash Bros. Didn't create the concept of a crossover, and it isn't completely original in and of itself. Number 2, as long as it's not exactly like Smash, which is very little of it seems identical, ROs, damage increase leading to longer distances, etc., I could care less. Yeah, NewZen41, Smash Bros. Isn't exactly original in the sense of being a crossover. It's original in the sense of how it's played. It was played more like a fighting party game. You actually knock them out of the screen. That's how it works. Here, it's just build up a gauge until you can perform a final smash. Or whatever they call it in this game, I don't know. Either way, Smash Bros. Wasn't original in its sense, it was original in its gameplay. For the record, I said it was a clone, but that doesn't automatically make it a bad game. Moving on. The next comment comes from CrunchVX. I think it will be good, and Smash Bros. Will finally have competition. I hope classic Crash and Spyro return as third-party characters, and I'm looking forward to it altogether. But I'm a bigger Smash Bros. Fan, and I'm looking forward to the Wii U and 3DS version whenever it comes out. There's actually a lot of people who like this game just because it's giving Smash Bros. Some competition, which is always good. It's always good to have that, but just copying the competition is just lazy and unoriginal in my opinion. This next one comes from Nintendan GX. From what I've seen so far, PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale looks pretty good, if a little too much like a Smash Bros. Clone. I definitely agree with you about Nintendo needing to listen to their fans more when it comes to choosing characters, so I hope Sony will do that. My only worry is the game's lifespan. Super Smash Bros. Melee and Brawl kept me playing for ages, mainly because of the trophies and other things. Will this game have a reason for people to keep playing it like Super Smash Bros. Melee and Brawl did? Yes, that'd be the trophy system that the PS3 has. Trust me, they can put the trophy system on there. It'd be like hundreds of trophies they can unlock. Not in the same sense of what Smash Bros. Did, it's completely different. Our next comment comes from Antimatter Gamer. It's going to be decent. While Sony doesn't have as many first parties as Nintendo does, the addition of third parties will be a huge plus. For gameplay, I think it's going to play kind of the same but slower. Also, how one can create a clone of something without copying the source material at least a little bit is beyond me, so I expect at least some similarities. Super Smash Bros. Has had 3 iterations now since the N64-bit era. It's about time someone attempted this, and I'm sure as heck going to pick it up. Alright, fair enough. Though I do think Sony kinda has more IPs than you might think. Though Nintendo does have quite a number of them, probably over 30. Maybe even more. I haven't counted. I just know they have a lot. Here we have an interesting comment from, I'm not sure how to say this, Sakura? No, I think it's Sakura9931. If opinions are opinions, I don't think any one game can be better than another. No matter what anyone says, it's just going to be one person's opinion, even in game reviews. They're using their own opinions about what the review in the game, and that's how it's written right there, sorry. There have been plenty of games that got horrible reviews that I loved. Yes, opinions are opinions, but sometimes you can judge it based on something else. Such as, for example, Sonic 06 with glitches and loading screens and poor controls, and yeah, it does become an opinion based on whether you like it or not, but when you take those things into accountability, it's kind of hard to recommend it to everyone. You do bring up a good point, and I do have to admit to that. And I also think it's kind of funny how some people in the other video were saying that just because I said it was my opinion that Smash Bros. Will still play better than PlayStation All-Stars, people were saying that I was saying it as a fact. And thank you, Threadnought, for replying to that person's comment. This one kind of needs some attention. SuperQuag8. I'm very happy to see this, as I have wanted some of my favorite Sony characters, i.e. Ratchet, Jack, and a fighter like this, though I would have preferred a super crossover between Battle Royale and Smash, so my favorite Sony characters could fight my favorite Nintendo ones. That could never happen. I'm sorry. You can wish that all you want, but it's just never gonna happen. Maybe if the arcades still existed, but the arcades are dead. At least most of them are dead, and nobody really goes to arcades anymore. Well, maybe a few people do, but not as often. Those are a thing of the past now. And it would be the only way you could ever see that, because you're never going to see Sony characters on a Nintendo system, and you're not going to see Nintendo characters on a Sony console, even for a crossover like this. It's just not going to happen. Okay, here's a comment from the Kid20X6. I don't think the game will be bad, but I don't think the game has a chance of beating Smash Brothers. This game will have a fan following, but it will be mostly centered around more hardcore Sony fans, and maybe Nintendo fans will play it, but for the most part, they will still prefer Smash regardless. I prefer the ability to knock my opponent out of the screen rather than having to rack up points to be able to use your ultimate attack to kill them. It's a valid opinion nonetheless, right? He doesn't think it's going to be as good as Smash? I don't think it's going to be as good as Smash. Here's a comment from Ultima Keymaster. Just to clarify, the developers have been on the record saying Smash was their main inspiration, so they're being upfront about it, which is good. And it'd take forever listing things that I'd want in this game here, honestly. Can you tell me where exactly they were upfront about it being a Smash Bros. Clone? Just, give me a link. Send me a link in a PM. Let me know. If it works, I'll put it in the description box. I would honestly like to see that. If they can say that, I'd be very happy. And then I could actually forgive them. Or not forgive them, but then I could be more tolerable. Or at least a bit more optimistic about this game. Because it bothers me when they copy Nintendo and they don't give the credit where credit's due. They just say, oh, let's just take this idea and run with it. If they're saying, let's take this idea, give credit, and do our own thing, that's fine with me. That's perfectly fine. In fact, I'd be very happy. It'd be them admitting, yes, we had some inspiration. Yes, we had some ideas from the Smash Brothers series. Yes, and I would also like it if they said, yes, we like Smash Brothers. That'd be a really cool thing to hear them say. But yeah, just send me a link. If it's real, I'll put it up in the description. So thank you, Ultima Keymaster, for pointing that out, if it's real. Okay, this one comes from Fukuyama. Why should Nintendo never copy Sony? Stop with all this fanboyism. A good thing is a good thing. If Sony does something good ever, by all means, everyone copy it. The main problem with Sony Brothers is no one gives a crap about any of the characters other than Parappa. Look, if all we did was copy one another, nothing new would ever come from it. Yeah, you'd have like a new version of it, but it's basically the same thing. Then it just gets old, it gets tired, it gets repetitive. You need to come up with new things, otherwise you're just stuck in this rut forever. Besides, I kind of like how Nintendo says, we don't like to copy our competition, we like to come up with our own stuff. To me, that says, we are original. We are not going to be lazy and just copy someone else's idea. Maybe they've copied a few ideas in the past, but I don't know any examples, so moving on. Okay, this one comes from NoNames76761. I've been a PlayStation fanboy my entire life. I've always hoped this would happen, but I never actually expected it. Yeah, it's a blatant ripoff, but seriously, who's going to deny that? And besides, competition may push Nintendo to try even harder on the next Smash Brothers. Once again, another person hoping that this is really good so that it gives Smash Brothers some competition, and to that I say, I agree. Okay, this one comes from Jack and Daxter 19988. I've always wanted a PlayStation Smash game ever since the PS1. I only hope for a few things. One, for the story not to be so serious and to have fun with all these characters being in the same place. Nathan Drake's one-liners versus Sly Cooper's antics would be perfect. Also, I would like there to be support for the game after it gets released. I'm not saying every week another DLC package, but unlike Brawl, Battle Royale can be improved if say the online isn't good at launch. Yeah, I see what you're saying there. Also, I need to bring up how I feel about DLC. DLC, if they release the game and then they make DLC, like it's not on the disc, that's fine with me. I like that. Because that means months later, I'll have brand new content and I'll come back to this game. That gives the game a long-lasting life value. Or at least it makes you play longer than you did before. Whereas, I do not support Capcom's DLC on the disc. That is what sucks. That is what most people are ticked about. But I feel that adding more content after the game has already been finished and not putting it on the disc is what they should do. Of course, Capcom has already mentioned that they've addressed that issue and that they will fix it. They just need time. Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it, Capcom. Alright, moving on. I know I got carried away there, but I just had to bring that up because I've had so many people talk about how much they hated DLC. I haven't really got to experience DLC yet. I'm just saying it holds a lot of promise if done the right way. Okay, kind of going back to what I said near the end of the video for what's your opinion on this, and saying that if it had characters like Sora, that does not automatically make it better. However, this one person was smart enough to put it in his opinion. Anthony62013. I'll put it this way. I don't care how the game plays, as long as it works well. No bad controls. It can play like a carbon copy of Smash for all I care. I just need one little thing. To be able to beat the crap out of Kratos, Sly, and any other Sony character I don't care that much about. With Sora or Roxas, or Ventus, to an extent I guess. If it has Kingdom Hearts characters, I'll buy it on release day. Yes, you can say it's your opinion like that. That's what I was saying. It's okay to say it's your favorite based on an opinion if it has a character, but saying it's a fact? No. Anthony62013 did not say it's a fact. I have no problem if you like a game based on the character selection, roster screen, but saying that it's better because of that and saying it's a fact? Can't really do that. Doesn't look good. Okay, here's an interesting one from 2Zelda1. Quite the common concept today, is it not? Seems that most of what we see today are mostly just first-person shooters, time wasters such as sandbox games, and other such goal-lacking games, and the occasional fighter. And from what I've only seen, not very many quality performers or anything else of some original content. As for PlayStation All-Stars, meh, it looks cool. I can see the resemblance to Smash Brothers, though, but hey, if it's a good game and they do give credit to Smash, then I applaud them. If they can give credit to Smash, like the other person mentioned, then yes, I will cut this game some slack. Next up comes actually two comments from Brawlmaster012. I'm excited for this game, and will probably pick it up if the reception is decent to good, since Brawls Online was one of the worst I've ever experienced, and I'm confident Sony will do much better with it in this game than Nintendo did. However, I'm worried that having to always rely on your special attack as the sole method of winning will get boring very quickly. In Smash Brothers, there are so many ways to KO your opponent, offering so much strategy in your playstyle. I feel the variety is what gives Smash its lasting appeal, but relying only on special attacks in this game defeats any sort of strategy because everyone will be trying to do the same thing. They really should have multiple ways of winning than just specials, otherwise this game really will not hold attention for long, which is one of the fundamentals of Smash Brothers. So, thank you for backing up what I said in the other video. There are so many ways that you can kill an opponent that that's what makes it so much fun. There's a lot of thought put into it, but here it's just stack up, stack up, stack up. You know? You're always gonna be doing the same thing. Just get that meter up, and once you get it up, unleash your attack. Sure, there's 3 different levels of it, but if they all kill the opponents, then what's the difference? I don't know, maybe there's something I'm missing. Okay, Skylight Legacy also kind of wrote in 2 comments as well. He wishes he was able to get a PS3 so he would even have the ability to buy it, but he just wanted to go on record saying this. I'd also have to agree with you when you said it's not going to match up with Smash Brothers at all. I'd also have to agree with you when you said it's not going to match up to Smash Brothers all that much in terms of quality and fun exploitation. Smash Brothers seems a lot more satisfying when it comes to how your opponents die, which is oh so worth the time spent playing it. Smash Brothers is just an overall better game to me, and I haven't seen another, in my opinion, that was able to match its gameplay's attributes. So yes, he also said it was in his opinion. So yes, that's what I'm saying. So we 3 pretty much have the same idea. Because of the way you can kill an opponent in Smash Bros., it gives it more replay value, it gives it more of a satisfying feel, and it just feels like there's more thought put into it. That's our biggest reason why we feel that Smash Bros. Will still come out on top. But that's just our opinion, okay? Calm down, Sony fans. This next comment comes from SA3 Future. To be honest, if Sony gets Mega Man, I'd be ticked. But otherwise, kudos to everything CJ has said. Smash Bros. Also has a longer history than Sony, so there will probably be more third-party characters in the Sony ripoff than Smash Bros. And I'm okay with that. If they don't take Mega Man or Sora, I'm cool. I'd actually agree. For whatever reason, I do not want to see Mega Man in this because it'd feel more like a slap to the face than the Nintendo fans who had Mega Man longer. Mega Man started on Nintendo. He should be in Smash Brothers. He should be in Smash Brothers, then he should be in this one. Oh, and it's also been kind of confirmed that Snake will be in this as well. Solid Snake will be in this, and so was Nathan Drake. Anybody who read the little leak before this video was made, and it also revealed that Kevin Butler would somehow be in the game. And we know this because of the cast of credits that have been listed on that one website. I don't remember what it is. It just listed those actors and the voices that they're playing. Which is why I'm not too ticked that Snake is in this. After all, he did technically start on Nintendo system on the NES with Metal Gear. And then he was in Smash Brothers. He's also been in a crap ton of other games as well, but at least he was in Smash Brothers before being on this. So I'm not too mad about Snake being in it. In fact, I'm not that mad at all. As long as he comes back for Smash, and as long as Sonic does as well. But yes, I do agree. I do not want to see Mega Man in this. Maybe X, but I want classic Mega Man in the next Smash Brothers. And maybe a costume change so he can look like X. And all the other Mega Man versions, but... Okay, I'm getting off topic here. This comment I kind of have to clarify and correct for Ryan9169. Nintendo has copied Sony. Where do you think the dual analog stick and double shoulder button design came from? Just saying. Also, do you own a PS3? I'm sorry. Didn't the analog stick originally come from the N64? Yes, because I have an original PlayStation controller that does not have dual analog sticks. They came out with the dual analog sticks after Nintendo came out with their analog stick. So, Nintendo didn't copy Sony, they just took their own idea and doubled it. I don't know what you expected to get out of that. You just pretty much destroyed your own argument. The double shoulder button? Well, technically they did use the Z button at the top. Then they used ZL and ZR on the classic controller. But once again, Nintendo already did shoulder buttons for the Super Nintendo, so... Don't know where you're going with this. I really don't. And yes, I do own a PS3. Okay, these next two comments actually come from Mario Linkchino fan. Quite a little behind schedule, huh, CJ? I don't have a PS3 since fighters are often inferior to their 360 counterpart, and thus my choice was made. Better online and no lag inputs compared to for PS3 games. Look it up. So yeah, but what this game does better than Smash is that it is actually getting advice from pro Smash players, seeing as how Sakurai is an and isolates gamers in obnoxious ways. A terrible game design in general. I can respect Sony here. Supers, however, are terrible. Alright, let's see. Supers being the only way to kill promotes some very ugly playstyles, and honestly, it feels as if it's a way to prolong matches for the sake of a party feel. The game should keep a flow that works. Terrible pacing in any game can ruin what could be an enjoyable experience. However, Sony has confirmed stock mode, so I'm not too annoyed on the subject. I'm curious to see if this will be a clone of Smash or a clone of Brawl. I hope the former, but who knows. I feel like I'm probably the only person right now who likes Brawl better than Melee. Yes, I said it. Then again, I'm not a competitive gamer, so whatever. I have my reasons for liking Brawl more. I'm not saying Brawl's better, I'm just saying I like it more. See what I did there? That was an opinion, not a fact.